Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. It is the 1st of October on this Sunday. Broadcasting you live. It is 4:15 in the evening in Tijuana, Mexico. God bless every single one of you. Share this video out if you will love for us to get more information and more the information out there. If you guys can share the video out, like the video, share the video, like the video. Also, buy me a coffee. It's on the bottom link. It's in the chat box. If you guys like to contribute to Independent Reporting and Travel Fund, it is right there. We cannot do this on our own, and we need your support to continue our broadcasting and also our traveling. So it is right there. God bless every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's get right into it. This is a man that is called Enrique Lucero. Enrique Lucero, it is the Director of Immigration and for Migrants, the Department of Migrants in the city of Tijuana. It is extremely important that you guys see this interview. Why am I saying that it's extremely important? Because it tells you how this irregular migration through the whole continent, how it is a business and how it is also a commerce profit and how it is developing a new economy for hotel owners, for Airbnbs, and also for local businesses, how it has grown into that. That is why in Tapachula we saw this, that a lot of the migrants took over a street that is called 10th Street. And it was creating local businesses outside of other businesses that it was affecting the Mexican nationals. But also, it was growing massively in terms to the hotels. And the hotels were also taking advantage of the migrants. The owners of the hotels, they were charging more than an average typical person. Let's per se, a hypothetical example. If a hotel was charging $25 a night, now because you were a migrant, they were charging between $60 to $70 a night. It was tripled almost at the cost. Why? Because they knew that the migrants, they were a necessity to move forward. They know that the migrants are a necessity to not stay there, so they might as well take advantage of it. And that is not only with the hotels, it is only with food. You guys remember that we were in Ecocli in Colombia, the departure of boats to the Darien Gap, where there's local businesses outside. It is a business now. It is a run business. You will see the travel advisors with travel agencies that will also charge between $45 to $60 to get to these islands where they enter to the Darien Gap. Also, you will see these local carts where locals have already put these, dispensary of items for people to buy, little stoves for camping, boots for camping, tarps for camping, everything that they need for everything that they need, for their travesty and their journey into the Darien Gap and ultimately also moving forward. And also when you arrive to the migrant camps, there's local businesses. The local businesses are selling clothing, selling food, even the Western Union. If you want to ask for Western Union and these local migrant camps, they ask for 17% of what they are sending. So imagine if you're getting $100 out of those $100 that are being sent from the United States, 17% goes to these local businesses. So it is a business. It is a business, a humanitarian business. It is a human business. And here, the Director of Immigration, who he has done an excellent job in our city of Tijuana. If you guys have seen, the city of Tijuana has been acting more accordingly to law. Although in the past week, we have seen irregular entrances to the wall, and that is not the fault of the Mexican authorities, nor either the fault of the American authorities. This due to the fact that the only ones, and a lot of people have been asking this question, why the Mexican authorities, in a really viral video that I did in Instagram and also at in our platform in TikTok. And also you can see this video in Facebook. Um, when you see this video, you see a lot of people jump in the wall. And I said desperately they're jumping because that is the way that I describe it, that they're desperately getting into the other side because they can see that nobody is stopping them. Now, you will see a police officer in the middle of that in a quad. And a lot of people were creating these denigrating comments as it's time to shoot, put some landmines and incompetent comments like that. But a lot of people were asking why the police officer doesn't stop them, or why the National Guard of Mexico doesn't do anything, or why the Mexican military doesn't stop them. It is exactly as the United States. Remember, when you are part of the global compact on migration, these authorities are in charge only of, providing the transportation or providing the access. Although, if they see a migrant that is acting radically and it is carrying something that is illicit, they will have the authority to question. But the only authority is that it can stop a migrant from jumping a wall, or for in other language, for us to cross irregularly into the United States of America. It is the Institute National Immigration. Those are the only ones that they can question and they can stop, in a way, stop from them transitating and in transition. I'm sorry, excuse me. The Institute National Immigration is the only one. So if you see that video, if you see that video, uh, the other phone number, please. If you see the that video that is really viral, and that ultimately it went viral in our platforms, you will see that it's only one Mexican police officer in that particular area, and it could not do anything about it. The only thing that it could do is just watch and see how they are, desperately climbing the wall to get to another place that is the United States of America. But and it's really important to address the migration at border walls. It's federal. Only federal government takes care of it, just like in the U.S. Thank you so much for that, manager. So, for the really important observation for that. And ultimately, a lot of people say, well, where's the INAMI? Where's the International Immigration? As the United States Border Patrol, they're overwhelmed. And as migrants were being processed on the other side of Imperial Beach, when I was there, I asked the Border Patrol, and you can actually hear it on the live feed. And I will love to cut that little part of the video if I can find it, where I asked the Border Patrol, how many are you getting a week? And he's saying, we're getting per day 200 to 400 per day on that particular area only. So it's a lot. So it's a lot of people that they're being processed, a lot of people that are jumping, and it is just overwhelming. But let's go back to the subject. The main subject is this man right here has been doing a fantastic job. He is the director of immigration. He's young, and he has his certain ideologies, which I agree to disagree. But he has been representing our city in the most prestigious way, and trying to do a great job about it, and go on, the way that it will not get involved with violating human rights and ultimately applying the law. So that is particularly what we're more interested on. But I will translate the words that he's saying in terms to this video. Now, this video, give credit to one of the best journalists in Tijuana, Baja California, by the name of Yolanda Morales. She's doing a phenomenal job on creating stories and finding the stories of immigration. She did a phenomenal job this week, broadcasting about the mosque and the Muslims that they are arriving massively into Tijuana. That is the biggest mosque in the whole country of Baja and the whole country of Mexico. And also incredible stories that she did. Well, this is one of them that she really emphasized on how hotels are being overrun in Tijuana. And you're saying, okay, before I get into this interview, you're understanding that an economical migrant, it is running or it is coming to the United States because they don't have economy. Ultimately, the ones that they're providing the economy for him and his transit are their family members in the U.S. So a lot of people ask, where did they get the money? Is their family members in the U.S. or they sell all their property, they sell all their cars, everything that they had for them to start moving forward into another country. But there's several types of migrants. And one of them, it is the migrants from Russia, that they're more organized. They enter regular. They started entering into the United States in an irregular fashion. And why they were entering in an irregular fashion, the thing is real simple. They got the idea that if they were being smuggled into the United States on a vehicle, they would get more easier access. So you will see a lot of those videos before where migrants from Russia, they were being caught in the middle of of the transit crossing to a border and crossing to the border vehicle line. They don't do that anymore. They wait for the CBP app. He's going to explain this is so important for people to understand how these economical migrants in a way, if they're getting funded, well, they're just basically want to get to a better life. But also, there's an economy that is being created now in Tijuana because of these economical migrants that they're spending on Airbnbs and hotels. Before I go on, Victoria, Kathy, Karen, thank you so much for the coffees. Buy me a coffee is on the bottom link. If you guys like to contribute to our independent reporting and travel fund, buy me a coffee is in the bottom link. We are going to be traveling soon. So you guys know that whenever I'm traveling, if I say soon, it's because it's coming. And also, quick shout out and quick to point out, we have a shirt store, a t-shirt store, and we had the God's Plan is Our Mission t-shirt store. So you guys want to add that to your to the shopping cart for this month. It is a great t-shirt that says God's Plan is Our Mission. It is they're going to put up the link in the message box. Somebody saying, you ever buy your own coffee? Yes, I got it right here. God bless you, and God bless every single comment that you put, and God bless your dear heart, and God bless your ways. So let's move on into this interview. Let's put play right here.
Sí, hay migrantes que vienen bien programados, los rusos. Los rusos
There's migrants that do a real program. That, let's per se an example, the Russians.
era una comunidad que planificaba muy bien al principio entraba de manera irregular y ahorita como que se disciplinaron, ellos llegan en avión.
At first, when this started, the Russians started coming in an irregular fashion. Now, it has become more regular. Now it's like they got organized. They really got organized. The migrants from Russia.
Rentan Airbnb o rentan un hotel y están
They are renting now Airbnbs, and they are renting also hotels.
hasta 5 meses
Up to 5 months.
esperando que les llegue su cita de CBP-1.
Until they wait for their appointment, that is the CBP-1.
Es la segunda comunidad que más ha ingresado con CBP y la que ya menos cruza de manera irregular.
It is the second largest community that has entered through the CBP-1, the Russians. And it is now the top community that is not entering irregularly into the United States of America.
Entonces sí, se estima que hay aproximadamente 14,000 solicitantes de asilo en este momento.
Yes, and it's estimated that we have more than 14,000 people that they are awaiting in Tijuana for this solicitation of CBP-1 and asylum.
Entre los 4,500 en albergues.
Between the 4,500 migrants that they are in shelters,
y entre domicilios privados,
and also with private addresses,
Airbnbs,
and also with Airbnbs and hotels.
O sea, la mayoría está en hoteles. Sí.
So you're telling me that the majority, the reporter, I believe that is Claudio Orozco is asking, so you're telling me that the majority are in hotels? And he says, yes.
Hay una gran comunidad de hoteles. Porque mucha comunidad, por ejemplo, la musulmana, no les gusta estar en albergues.
There's a lot of people that they are in hotels. Let's say, for example, the the Muslim community, they don't want to be in shelters. Why the Muslim community does not want to be in shelters? Because of their religion. Ultimately, they need some privacy and the food and all of that. It doesn't involve, and it's a shock of cultures. So I have seen that before, where I saw migrants from Somalia that they were Muslim, and they were at a shelter, and there were women, and they were wearing a whole. It was not a hijab; it was a burqa, and ultimately they were moved out of that shelter, and they moved them into a particular place where they were safer, and they had the service on every Friday, the Juma service as they call it. For them to do their service. So he's explaining right here that the majority of the migrants that they're not living on shelters are saying, for example, the Muslims.
por el tema de su religión, necesitan privacidad.
He's saying for the topic that is Muslims specifically, as I was explaining, he's saying and relating to their religion, they need some privacy.
Otros tienen recursos simplemente para
A lot of them, they have resources to pay, and simply they find an Airbnb or they find an apartment.
pagarlo, ¿no? Y estar en privado, ¿no?
Pues eso también implica una derrama económica entonces para
Claro.
So journalists ask, so that is bringing more economy to the city, and he addresses and he says, yes, absolutely.
Sí, es una migración sofisticada como la había llamado y no nomás
It is a sophisticated migration that we are talking about.
la está utilizando Rusia, la está utilizando Colombia, la está utilizando otros países de Asia, ¿no? O sea,
It's not only that is Russia, it is using this, new economy that is bringing to our city. The sophisticated economy is not only them, it's Colombia, and it is also people from Asia that they're coming, and they have a sophisticated economy for them, for ultimately to provide and to live in the city, maintaining themselves, and then after that, they can address to the CBP one.
África también, por aquí alrededor hay muchos hoteles donde están hospedados de ellos y están
In Africa, for example, there's a lot of places right here in hotels where they are staying at. A lot of Africans, they're staying right here in hotels.
esperando CBP One o inclusive a lo mejor una vía irregular, ¿no?
So a lot of these people from Africa that they're staying in hotels, they're waiting for CBP one, or sadly, they're waiting for in irregular fashion to enter into the United States.
Que se venga lo que pasó en Piedras Negras, ¿no?
We're really worried if something happens in terms to Tijuana, if something like Piedras Negras happens into our city also. What do you mean, Piedras Negras? Piedras Negras, a massive influx that is actually arriving to Piedras Negras, and then ultimately, Tijuana is trying to prevent that for it to get exacerbated or to get out of control. And in a way that it gets out of control, it means that the authorities are going to be surpassed and overwhelmed to actually control this flow.
Que llegó el martes llegaron 8,000 y el miércoles otros 8,000.
On Tuesday, there was, the example of Piedras Negras, and on Tuesday, there was 8,000 that they arrived. And then, the other Tuesday, there was another 8,000 that they arrived. So he's putting an example into perspective what happened in Piedras Negras, and they're trying to prevent that from happening in Tijuana.
Esos escenarios sí nos pueden poner en una situación muy complicada entre esta convivencia en la garita, ¿no?
Those scenarios that can put us in a really complicated spot if that happens to us.
Oiga, yo sé que hay una comunidad importante en albergues, pero también hay varios hoteles.
Hoteles sí,
llenos de
sí.
migrantes.
Hay migrantes que vienen bien programados, los rusos.
And so ultimately the questions going on and on and on about the current situation of the economy. So this is really in a way for me to tell you this kind of story, it is really important. Why? Because we know that it's actually it's a business now, and what the migrants are bringing, if they're bringing economy or they're not bringing economy or whatever they're bringing, if they're bringing economy or not, ultimately we know that economy is staying at the city. So a lot of the hotels, a lot of these Airbnbs, a lot of these local businesses, they feel that when the migrants are not arriving, and they're getting accustomed to that. What it does, it is that creates this irregular industry that, a lot of the migrants are trying to do it correctly, like he says, wait for the CBP one and wait for, the process to enter the United States on a process. But, sadly, a lot of them, they cross irregularly through the United States of America. So how can you know if this economy is being brought to our country on terms that they are trying to achieve an asylum or refugee case on the legal pathway? It is exactly what is happening in the south border of Mexico, exactly what is happening in Nacandí and Capurganá and all these places that we have been at. And sadly, it tells you that, it can easily now the businesses, they can rely and they can categorize this as tourism. Why I'm saying this? Because look at what the mass migration has done to the cultures in Panama. They have completely not destroyed it, but they have completely, removed their cultures. And now the Indians and the people that they are in the culture, like the Emberá and the Guna tribes in the Panama jungle, now instead of cultivating, instead of living out of their culture, instead of living out of their customs, now their culture is the irregular migration and the illegal migration inside of the jungle, as working as guides, as working as coyotes, as working as people that they can clean the pathway, And ultimately, in their villages, they have now businesses as food, as clothing. So this has created another industry. So the open border policies, people, the migrants that they are, the people that they are, successfully paying in an outstanding amount of money are the migrants. And the ones that are being used as cattle and the ones that are being used as bait are the migrants. Meanwhile, the businesses around it are making millions of dollars. And this is not a lie. If you can actually just multiply, and I will actually just use a calculator right here, there were more than 1,500 to 2,000 people crossing every day the Darien Gap. So if you multiply $300, that is the amount that these guides from the jungle are using. If you multiply that for 2,000 people, that will create $600,000 right there, and just this amount of people. So imagine that per 7 days a week. So that multiplies to $4,200,000. That is only on the Darien jungle. Imagine that. So it is an industry, and in some places it creates a good industry, like in the borders. It creates the industry to go to Airbnbs. It creates the industry to go to hotels. It creates the industry of the food industry. It creates an industry of economical industry that blows up, and it helps the local businesses, as Tijuana citizens. Let's per se an example. But ultimately, this regularizes that if it is okay in the borders of Tijuana, it has to be okay in the Darien jungle. And it is not comparable, because in the Darien jungle, you're seeing people that they're losing their lives. You're seeing people that they're being trafficked. You're seeing people that they're being robbed. Seeing people that they're being abused. And instead of helping the process to be correctly and not hurting people as they are coming or migrating in a particular way, documented peacefully and secure way, now you are aiding and abetting to this to continue little by little, because the migrant is thinking 3 kilometers from here, there's a store. Another 3 kilometers from here, there's another store. Another 3 kilometers from here, there's a store where we can buy clothes. Another 3 kilometers. So you are programming this industry to continue. And now the migrants know the route. So in some places, you can say, oh, wow, it's profitable. Yeah, it's helping the city. But in some places, it is all the way upside down, because the ones that they're benefiting out of this, it is a cartel. And ultimately, when you have people that they're trying to cross irregularly, who do they go to? Do they go to these NGOs? Do they go to the authorities? Do they go to people that they are legally trying to explain to you how to do a process? No, they don't. They found a way to get into in contact with a trafficker or with a coyote, so they could cross them irregularly into the United States of America. And what are the consequences of that? Before I go, I want to say thank you for the coffees. Thank you so much to Sally, Curious, and Alba. Thank you so much for the coffees. Buy me a coffees in the bottom chat if you guys like to contribute to Independent Reporting and Travel Fund. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And also, our link for a t-shirt store, it is right there on the bottom. So what does this cost? When the migrants intend, and I have said this continuously, when this is the migration of nowadays, and it's sad to say it, people, it is really sad to say that now the migrant, they rely on the coyote and the trafficker as a resource of transportation, as a resource to get there, as a resource for them to move, as a resource for them to achieve the political asylum. And it is sad to see that. It is sad to say that. And it is sad for us to understand that where this migration has gotten into a place where going in the back of a tractor trailer, it is okay. Into a place where migrating through a mountain with a coyote that you think that is going to take you there, it is okay. We have seen during the week multiple reporting of our local journalists in Tijuana, like Saí Betanzos, Yolanda Morales, and Claudia Orozco, been reporting in the mountains, in the parts of a road that it directs you from Tecate to Mexicali, in La Rumorosa, where migrants are being left there stranded. And it is so far away from the borderlines. But why they're left there stranded? Because they believe in these coyotes, and they tell them, oh, you know what? I'll be right back, and I'll be right here to get you back. Well, meanwhile, these migrants, they're stranded with no water in the middle of the heat and thinking they're possibly going to make it. This is the new sad thing about it. Then when you create this economy, yes, it is helping the local businesses, it is helping all of that, but it's not regulated into a place where you don't know if a migrant is trying to cross in a regular fashion or is trying to ask for a coyote. And when you don't ask for a coyote, when you remotely do not, rely yourself on the coyote, this happens. This just happened with images of Said Betanzos. He gave us these images, and I will explain what happened on this mountain. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day when it was ending of 2019 and 2020. I was climbing these mountains. If you guys remember my live feeds, I used to walk on these mountains. I used to walk all the way to the top of these mountains and show people the wall. And I used to do multiple live feeds. Show people multiple live feeds. I'd say it was continuously. I used to walk for like an hour, 2 hours up the mountain and say like, this is the road. Look at the amount of of a wall that is being built, and ultimately that. So I want before I go on, I want to answer a question right here or a comment before I go on. So this comment says, "Be straightforward, no excuses." Let me remove this. It says, "Be straightforward, no excuses." Why doesn't Mexico stop the term illegals you're using from entering their country? Is Mexico being paid? Has Mexico gone rogue in helping other countries to destroy the USA? What happened to your government? Why is it so easy for you to point the finger when your own government is the one that is actually doing this? Mexico is a sovereign country. We don't depend on your decision. We are not your backyard. Mexico has a free of transit. Mexico is a sovereign country. We don't depend on what you say. Now, who's inviting it? Can you ask yourself that question? Who's receiving? Who's actually with this policy of open border policies? Who's incentivizing this to continue from all across the world? It's not even on the continent of America. Is it Mexico only? Because Panama's trying to do something for people to not take advantage of migrants and to stop the enormous trafficking and enormous abuse. Now Colombia's trying to do something. Now El Salvador did something. The United States is just showing how the world can just easily walk in. And you're blaming it on our country of Mexico? You're out of destruction yourself. You're destroying yourself. If you're talking about destruction, why you're not talking about your own government, your own cartels that they operate inside of your government, your own politicians? Because me as a foreigner, I can tell you, I don't see Democrat, I don't see Republican. If you want to take it like that, I'm a Mexican citizen. So I see whoever's running your policies, like in New York, like in Chicago, like in LA, like in San Francisco, like in parts of Texas, whoever's running those places, Baltimore, Florida. I want to ask you, who is actually causing this crisis in your country? It is so easy to just pull the finger and just say it's Mexico's fault and it is their fault. Let them take care of it. We're not your employee. You're the one that is causing these policies. And the USA is the only one that has sanctuary cities. In Mexico, we don't have sanctuary cities. You have them. We have an enormous problem that is the cartel. And actually, the cartel goes both ways, because the number one buyer of child pornography, it is the United States. The number one buyer of pedophilia, the number one buyer of child trafficking, is the United States. The number one buyer of fentanyl, it is the United States. The number one distributor of more fentanyl in the world inside of their country, it is the United States. The number one country that has more problems of distribution in schools with fentanyl, it is the United States. 88.7% of the people that are crossing tons of fentanyl in vehicles to the ports of entry are United States citizens. The money is coming from where to pay the cartels? It's dollars. It's coming from the United States to Mexico. So I want to ask you a question. Where does this problem start? So easy to point the finger, but it's not easy to analyze that we have this problem and we need to work together. We need to work together instead of pointing the finger. If you want to state facts, I can go on and on and on and on and on. And the fact of the matter is, when you keep me talking like that, a lot of people, it's just, they're going to get their feelings hurt. Why? Because they no, it's not our fault. It is Mexico's fault. No. Hold on a minute. Who's buying it? Who's the demand? Who's the demand? Who's paying for it? Am I wrong or am I right? And nobody's talking about the letter cartels in your country. Nobody's talking about the pharmaceutical companies that they're the biggest cartel in your country. Nobody's talking about that. You're saying, oh, these undocumented individuals, they don't pay taxes. They do when they go to Walmart, when they put gasoline. They're not documented. Yes, they are not. But where did that ghost tax goes to? Where? Do these big industries, do these big industries and these big companies, are they reporting these ghost tax that they're actually not even being reported? Do you know how many undocumented communities they're surrounded by these local businesses, as it is Walmart, as it is Burger King, as it is Carl's Jr., as it is Chevron, as it is Akron, as it is all these local businesses? Where does that tax go to? Have you ever asked yourself this? So you're talking about there's going to be, why nobody's doing mass deportations? Why? Because you need the undocumented economy. Am I wrong or am I right? Because if you did not need this undocumented economy, you would have already deported 45 million. Now ask yourself this question. Biden said that he was going to regulate and he was going to give citizenship to more than 11 million undocumented individuals. Why he hasn't given them 11 million undocumented individuals their citizenship? Why? Because he needs them to be undocumented. That economy he doesn't want it to regulate. That economy is a ghost tax. Where does that ghost tax go? Where does all the money go? So you want to point the finger, but you don't see your problems. That's the number one thing. It's not about me throwing it at you, throwing it back. It's for us to analyze where is the problem. And between you and me, we're arguing or we're talking. Meanwhile, these oligarchs, they're sitting down. These elitists, they're sitting down, creating fights, creating division, creating lootings, creating riots because of this race, because he's black, because he's brown, because he's a minority, because he's white, because of the white supremacy, because of the white imperialism, because this language barrier that these leftist communists, they talk about. You're a white supremacist, conspiracy theorist, creating hysteria, fascist, racist, narcissist, bigot, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, pronoun-phobic, fact-phobic, all the phobias. In the meantime, we are fighting together. We're over here, but they're just sitting down and they're just creating this system. And we are not realizing what they're doing. The people are getting affected. The migrants are being used as bait. Don't get me started. Let's go back to the video. So this is actually what has been going on. So when the migrants take the decision to actually basically do this on their own, and as I was explaining, these places, remember these places when I used to walk up the mountain? Excuse me. When I used to walk up the mountain into where the wall is, I used to show where the wall was open and when ultimately where it was getting built and it was not getting built. But the problem right here was that, you find yourself sometimes with these individuals that they control these areas of the wall. These areas of the wall, these individuals, these traffickers, they're aggressive. And I remember that I have a video specifically of this journey that I was taking. I climbed this wall 3 times, and the third time that was my last time because this trafficker approached me, and it legitimately we can see actually that it was carrying something, and immediately we got out of there. We never went back to that particular place. We never went back to that specific and particular place. Never. I am downloading a video right now, and I will love to play this video. And it is a video that it was sent by my manager that is about, I believe that is about the United States with sanctuary cities. And the clip is about Biden. I'm sorry, the clip is about Biden. So as soon as I finish this story, or do you want me to play it now? Do you want me to play this clip now? Because whatever you say, you want me to play this clip now, or should I go on with this, with the explanation of the border wall and the migrants right here? So if you can just tell me if you want me to play it now. Okay, let me just send it to the computer and see if I can see. Oh, yeah, I remember this clip. Of course, absolutely. Uh, let me just send airdrop this clip. Uh, if people can be just patient with me, I'm trying save to downloads. Okay, I'm trying to see it's already been saved. Okay, let's go right here. I'm trying to get another video, another clip for you guys. As soon as I find a clip, and hopefully I will find it immediately. So, okay, here we go. So this is a clip that it was sent by my manager. I don't know what is it, but it's about Biden, and it's really important that we remember this. So this is
the idea.
Let's see. This is the clip. So let's play the clip, and people can actually see. It is I don't know how much of a clip it lasts, but I will play it right here. Stay out of the picture, and I will play it right here. Let me make it bigger. No, I don't think that's good. That right there is good. Okay.
First of all, the idea that Joe Biden said come, because I heard the other day that they're coming because they know I'm a nice guy. Sure, that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. They're seeking asylum. First time ever we've told people they can't come to America. That ends. The cage is closed. Those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
Wow. Let me play this clip again before I go to this incorrect comment right here. But let me play this clip again.
First of all, the idea that Joe Biden said come, because I heard the other day that they're coming because they know I'm a nice guy. Sure, that we immediately surge to the border.
Wow.
All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. They're seeking asylum. First time ever we've told people they can't come to America. That ends. The cage is closed. Those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
So wow, what a clip. Wow, that's unbelievable. The organized crime has used those clips of absolutely managers writing this. The organized crime has used those clips to tell people that right now, of course, absolutely, that right now it is the time to come, has nothing to do with Mexico. Thank you so much. So that is a clear response for the person that it was pointing out the finger to our country of Mexico. So that is basically that what I just responded to you is just right here. So you're telling me that Mexico, why Mexico? Why Mexico this? Why Mexico that? So there's your response. And there's a comment right here on the bottom. Let me just remove this. Thank you so much, manager, for that. USA embargo on Venezuela is causing the economy calamity. It's part of it, but it's not all of it. And you can ask. I have walked with thousands of migrants from Venezuela. Thousands. And every single one of them, I asked them that is communism or is the sanctions? And all of them, they say it's communism. All of them. Now, I have asked this question, migrants from Cuba and migrants from Venezuela, the thousands that I have walked, not hundreds, thousands that I have walked and even encountered inside of the Darien jungle, walked on caravans with them. And I have asked them this, migrants from Venezuela and from Cuba. I have asked them this. So let's say, hypothetical example, the United States releases sanctions. Is Maduro going to leave power? Is Diaz-Canel going to leave power and leave the people alone? Is the communist system going to be still implemented on those countries? Because I can tell you, the sanctions have nothing to do with people fishing in their own sea in Cuba. The sanctions have nothing to do with politicians in Venezuela exporting and importing exotic vehicles into their country. Why the only 1% that is the politicians and the people that they run the state, why they have the all exotic food and all the exotic expenses? So you talk about the criminal sanctions, but you don't see the opposite side. You see only the leftists and the progressive, and also the ideology of the dictator Maduro, that he's a dictator. That you will see more, and it is not because of the criminal sanctions. Release the criminal sanctions. Okay, let them go. I want to know if Maduro is going to leave power. You're telling me that is the problem. The problem is Maduro. It is not the criminal Sanchez. The problem, number one problem, it is Diosdado Cabello and it is Maduro. Ask every single Venezuelan, who is the problem? Who is the problem? Who is the problem in Cuba? Who is the problem? Before it was Castro. And all this populist speech that we are going to fight and we're the guerrilleros and we're going to fight for freedom. Look where that has cost. Do you know the multiple protests that they have done in Venezuela against Maduro and how many people have been arrested? How many people they have been killed? Sorry about the word killed. How many people have been disappeared? Do you know that all of these prisons, they're filled right now in Venezuela with politicians that they're against the communist system and the regime, and they're putting them and locking them up for 15 to 25 years. Now, if you want to go to example of what happened in Cuba, multiple protests have been happening in Cuba, and a lot of these Cubans were fleeing to the United States on a water raft, and guess who stopped them from getting asylum and refugee? Like this guy was saying, search the border. Alejandro Mayorkas told everybody, no, Cubans are not allowed. When he water rafted on his own, when he was young with his grandparents, and he arrived to the United States on a water raft. Why they were protesting in Cuba if everything is fine? Were they protesting about the criminal sanctions? No, they were protesting because their human rights were violated continuously, and they are violated continuously. I'm sorry, but your academic studies do not apply into when you go to live. This is academia. The ones that these leftists, this word that he used, oh, this academia, the academia. Go and pick up your academia, buy a plane ticket, and go apply your academia and your doctors or your masters in Venezuela. Let's see how that applies. Go and apply your academia in Cuba and see how that applies with the multiple electrical shutdowns, with the multiple water shortages, with the multiple educational shutdowns, with the violation of your human rights to transit, with your violations for food, everything. Let's see if your academia applies over there, because it's so easy to read a book. And it's so easy to think that that is going to be applicable into another country when it's not. Just wanted to let you know that. Connie, thank you so much for the coffees. Thank you so much. And you become a member. What, my God, thank you so much, Connie. God bless your dear heart. So let's go back to this video. This video, as I was explaining, this mountains I have climbed, as you guys have seen. And sadly, 14 migrants were found. 2 of them, they lost their lives as they were shot and they were attacked. Now, these multiple attacks have been happening, and this is why I'm going with this, that a lot of these migrants that they're saying, oh, yeah, there's an economy growth on every border because they're arriving. I understand that. But a lot of them, they take the other route, and this is the sad route that they have to take. They contact the guide, and they contact a, one time, what the hell is this comment? That's what I want to know. 1 minute, this guy acts like Captain America, and the other cats like Pancho Villa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I, I'm sorry if my way of being it is uncomfortable to you, my brother. I'm not Captain America. I'm a Mexican citizen. I'm sorry. Yes, and you're right. The cartels are the ones that they control. The government. Yes, we're right. But who's aiding and abetting this to continue? So this part where, 14 migrants were attacked, sadly, 2 of them, they lost their lives. They were shot. They were attacked by cartel members. Possibly these migrants, they were trying to cross. We don't know. There's a speculation, and I don't want to go more further into speculations. The speculation can be that they possibly, they were trying to cross irregularly without asking for permission of floor or permission of this. This guy. The term is flip-flopper. All right. Whatever you want to say. God bless your dear heart. Tim is your name. Tim is Suna. God bless your dear heart, man. God bless your dear heart. These I'm particularly, I do not agree with the right in a lot of things, and I really do not agree with the left. So I stay in the middle. And that is my way. And I have a thing that you have also that is called freedom. When you were born, God gave you that right, and when you die, is the only one that can take it is God. So this is my freedom, and it's my platform, and I'm expressing the way that I feel. So if that's the perception, God bless you, man. God bless every single time that you speak, every single time that you walk, every single time that you breathe. So 14 migrants, they were attacked. Two of them lost their lives, and apparently, not only that, out of the 14, 11 that they were there. One of them was gone missing, and 11 out of the 11 that they were there, two of them they were critically injured by gunshots. And ultimately, these two, they were women. They were rescued by Mexican authorities, that you guys see here. Again, the Mexican authorities rescuing people in the middle of these places where the migrants are basically being advised, or they tell them, hey, you know what, this is a particular place that you can cross. And sadly, this has been continuing. Now, this is information that is being given by Tijuana journalists. Along this 3 weeks, there has been more than 7 bodies that they have found in these limitations between Tijuana and Tecate. A lot of these bodies that they have been found, they also are indicated that they were in cahoots with the organized crime and crossing illegally and illicitly into the United States, and they were, well, basically they took their lives. Sadly, this happens when you are crossing through a place that you put your life in the hands of these people. And this has been continuous, not only in Tijuana, but also you can see this a lot in the deserts of Sonora with Arizona. They have found mass graves with people, being buried before the border wall. So it's just, you know, it's just unbelievable, the multiple violations, uh, the multiple network that this is creating for people to be abused and make them believe that they're going to cross safely in the hands of these traffickers, and in the hands of these traffickers, and also in the hands of these coyotes. And it is unbelievable the way that they are portrayed as, I'm going to help you. I'm a humanitarian. I will do this. I will do that. And at the last moments, this happens. And sadly, nobody knows what is going on. These 14 people sadly were attacked in the middle of a mountain, which 2 of them lost their lives, critically lost their lives. Other 2 were attacked by gun wounds, and the other ones, they were rescued. And this is a sad thing that is continuing. It's a really sad thing that is continuing. Now, this was another one that it was just recently reported, and this was in the borders of Tapachula. And let me just, where is the report? It's on this phone. Let me read the report for people to understand what I'm talking about. So it says right here, a strong accident occurred in the part of Pijijiapan. Pijijiapan is one of the last municipal cities in the state of Chiapas. I have walked through Pijijiapan on a caravan. And I have walked through Pijijiapan on a caravan that ultimately, I more than two caravans. I walked through Pijijiapan. It's a lot of heat on this particular municipal city. So it says a strong accident in Pijijiapan with Tonalá, that is the other last city for the border on the west coast, where they have found migrants that they have passed away due to this accident and also critically injured. On the side of the road of Pijijiapan, tow truck or a semi truck, the red of a color of a type of Ford, for 3 tons that it can carry 3 tons, with circulation plates. The report says that the vehicle was carrying people from Cuba, 26 people from Cuba, 13 ended critically injured. And not only that, 6 of these 26 people were in this vehicle. 13 were critically injured, 6 were kids, and 9 people died. One of them was a minor. This is what it will do. This is what trusting the organized crime will do. This is what I am saying. Like, if we're talking about a market and the economy that is growing consistently on borders, yes, I understand that. But sadly, you will see people that they're being smuggled on semi trucks, and they believe these traffickers and they believe these coyotes and they believe that they're getting transported correctly. So many accidents we have been reported that, migrants put their lives at risk, and they put their imagine crossing the Darien Gap. Imagine after crossing the Darien, you get extortion in the parts of Nicaragua, and the parts of Guatemala, and the parts of Honduras. And then you cross to Mexico, and then you find yourself with this opportunity to say, you know what, they're not letting nobody pass until you wait for a process. And they're like, there has to be a way. I need to move. I need to go quickly. They're already waiting for me. And you take the decision to be smuggled in the back of a semi truck. And then this happens. And it has happened before. It has happened in tragic accidents where migrants have lost their lives. Sadly, have lost their lives. And it is a sad thing to report, because you're expecting to arrive to a place safely after you have gone through torture, through hell, through this jungle, through these other countries that you get, absolutely your human rights are violated. And it's a legitimate thing to say, because there's a lot of corruption. As a lot of corrupt, officials, they know that the migrants are on transit, and they know that they're carrying money. Oh, they know that if they can stop them, and if they don't cooperate in a way, they will get stopped and they will get returned back. So the migrant doesn't have another expectation or another decision to say, let me call somebody so they can send you money. So, this is what it brings. So you have the regular migration that is actually, every day they're going to the CBP app, they're doing things correctly. And they're waiting on the line, and they're doing their process, and like, hey, they're waiting on the line, they're doing the process. But there's the other amount that, a lot of these shelters in Tijuana, and I can explain to you, there's a few shelters in Tijuana that I know of, that these leaders of these shelters, they educate the migrants for them to not take that decision, and for them to not pay attention to the coyote, and tell them, wait, man, it's just 2 to 3 months for you to wait and do it correctly. Why you want to go on the limb that you can possibly lose your life and put your life on the hands of these people? Wait. And these shelters, they're actually doing a great job. I want to mention them. One of them is Agape Shelter. The other one is Embajadores de Jesús. The other one is Juventud 2000. They're actually doing a great job on educating the migrants to tell them, do not do it this way. Do it the legal way. You have to wait, but do it the legal way. And there's a process to do it. And if that process is that, why you want to go and use a trafficker? When you do that, then there's the other economy, like the great director of immigration, Enrique Lucero, was saying. You have the two economies. You have the economy that is regular economy, and you have the other economy that is regular, but it's irregular at the same time, that they're actually providing economy for the local businesses, but ultimately we don't know if they're going to be on the process. So that is where you have the Mexican authorities checking the hotels and seeing if they are already regulated, or they have, their process correctly to enter to the CBP1 app. So a lot of people are saying, why they don't do that? Because they're overwhelmed. This is a mass exodus. It is nothing that is non-comparable to what is happening to the United States. It's an exodus. It's a lot of people. Already, California declared this a crisis. I was seeing in an article that already San Diego, California is having a problem with how they're going to handle this, because it's exacerbated. And, and it's going to be, exacerbated. Not only that, it's just, it's just surpassing. Already in Arizona, they have claimed this as a crisis. Already in New Mexico, they had a problem with this, and it's already been declared a crisis. Already in Texas, they declared this a crisis. Already in New York, they're declaring this a crisis. Already in Chicago, they say that it not going to be able to handle it. What else do you need? What else do you need? Open border policies are not humanitarian. You open the border, and a lot of these people say no borders, no walls, no USA at all, or no Mexico at all, or no this, no that, no that. I understand a free transit. I understand that everybody has the right to migrate. I'm a migrant myself, and I have said this before. Migration is a human right. Whether a lot of people agree or do not agree with it, for me, it is a human right to migrate. It is a human right, but there's laws to do it, and there's a process to do it. And we need to obey those laws, and we need to understand those laws. But when you have an open border policy, you will have the organized crime operating, and they're the ones that they are profiting out of this humanitarian crisis and the vulnerability of people. It is a reality. Who else is profiting? Is the people, the people of every country? These NGOs, how much money they're making? The United Nations, why is not spending the money where it needs to be spent? Why they're not saving the people where they need to be saved? Why they're not rescuing the people where they need to be rescued? Why they're not creating programs to education, free internet, free access, an international ID for them to transit correctly, documented, peacefully, like your global compact says, that everybody wants to be a part of. But lastly, everybody wants to get the hell out of there because it is just creating more chaos into a place where it was not created chaos. And it is affecting the migrants themselves. It's not even helping them. It's affecting them. And a lot of people are losing their lives and getting into critical accidents or losing their lives in the mountains. Instead of helping, it is a complication. People want a better life. And if they want a better life, this is not the way to migrate. This is not the correct way to migrate. And it is not the safe way to migrate. And it is not the directed way to migrate. Education, it is one of the most priority things on every country. And a lot of these leftist policies, they're implemented for people to not get educated and to not know the reality so they can rely on NGOs and they can rely on the other decision that is the cartel. So when a migrant gets educated and they know how to process correctly, they will not use the outlets of these organized criminal organizations. They will use the outlet to migrate correctly and document it and peacefully. And they will know, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I can do this. I can do that. The thing about it is that, there's the other migrant that doesn't have money, that doesn't have anything, that they're struggling and they're asking for money in the streets. That is where I say, where are these international organizations helping that big group of people, huge group of people, that the only money that they get when they get it is to pay a coyote or to pay food or to pay just to get the day pass by? That is where you need to be implementing your humanitarian help. That is where. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. God bless every single one of you. Buy me a copy. It's in the chat if you guys like to contribute to Independent Reporting and Travel Fund, and also our t-shirt link. It is in the chat. Thank you so much. I will accept a couple of comments. 57 minutes going in. A couple of comments. I will go an hour and 5 minutes. That's about it. To not extend this live feed more than an hour, but I'm taking an hour and 5 minutes. So that means 8 minutes of quick questions and quick answers that people want to ask me immediately. So let me just ask this. Mexico's president, Andrés Obrador, says publicly Mexico is safer than us. In some cities, yes, he is right. I'm sorry, but yes. We have some cities that are critically insecure. We already know that. We got 8 cities on the top 10 for 6 cities or 7 cities on the top 10 for violence and homicides in the world. But some cities, yes, they are safer. He's right. I'm sorry, but yes, he is. Mexico City is more safer than San Luis. Guadalajara is more safer than San Luis. Monterrey is more safer than San Luis or Baltimore or Chicago. Yes, he is. He is right. In some cities, yes, we got safer cities. Tijuana is not a safe city, as you can say. It's a lot of criminal activity going on, but the people are the ones that they maintain the city going. And the city goes on because of the faith that we have on every day, on a daily day basis. Are you on Rumble or Spotify? Facebook's taking pages down. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. what level of education most of these migrants have? Well, I have walked with doctors, I have walked with engineers, I have walked with lawyers, I have walked with teachers, I have walked with models, I have walked with all types of people. They're good people, they're hardworking people. There's a percentage that they come with bad intentions. That's why you need a filter. That's why you need a filter. In every country, you need a filter, and not only because you want to put a category on every migrant. It's just you need a filter to understand who's coming in and who's coming out, and to understand the intentions of every migrant. The intention is clearly that they need a better job and they want a better job. But if that particular individual is not, under the run, or he has a background check, or if that is his son and is not, you need all these things. And it's obvious. It's not xenophobic. It's not transphobic. It's not homophobic. It's not creating hysteria. It's not fear mongering. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a white supremacy like all these leftist lunatics say. It is just normal process as every single place. We have explained this before so many times. So many times we have explained this before. So it's a question that we have already explained in the past. I suggest that you go to our video inbox and see, and also go to Ben Berquam. He has explained it before. Also, I have explained it so many times before. Does Mexico has the biggest demand of substances to create fentanyl from China? Just asking about demand and services. If they have the biggest demand, is because the country on top, that is your country, the United States of America, is asking for it. So the thing is that it's a trickle question, because if you're telling me with an affirmative comment that if Mexico has the biggest demand of fentanyl, why does it have the biggest demand of fentanyl? The top one is buying it, so that possibly that is why. What has motivated you to do what you're doing? I remember the first time that I started broadcasting, the radio station sent, I was, a boxing broadcaster calling fights. Started in 012 doing that on a radio station, local radio station, internet radio station. The guy that reported on the caravans and all that kind of stuff, he didn't make it. So they sent me one day and they sent me another day. And, and I was just looking around, was just taking information and just wandering around and just looking. And then I went to the radio station and I talked about it. And then I came back and they sent me again and they sent me again, until they said, hey, can you do a live feed? And I started doing live feeds and all that kind of stuff. The thing that motivated me the most, it is the actual abuse that's happening towards migrants, towards children, the child trafficking. I started seeing all of these American mercenary activists that they're coming in, they're taking advantage of the migrant situation. And all of a sudden they are saying that they are the saviors of the world and they're doing it for free and they're doing it because they want to save and they want to help and la this and la that. When you start finding out the real purpose, that is, creating a business for lawyers and creating a business for this and creating a business for that. Yes, a lot of these activists have good intentions, but a lot of them, they have bad intentions. So I started seeing a lot of the child trafficking, a lot of the abused, a lot of people that are getting smuggled, and a lot of people are taken advantage of. And that really got me into, little by little, knowing the ins and outs of this new migration that is occurring massively into all of our continent. That I have been, in the whole, not the whole continent of America, but I have been in the south border of Mexico, Guatemala, borders with Honduras, El Salvador, borders with Nicaragua, been also in Colombia, Bogota, islands like Acandí, Capurganá, those are the connections to the Darien Gap. Crossed the Darien Gap 3 times already. Been to Panama, borders with Venezuela, and also Europe, Calais, France, borders with the UK and Ukraine also. So there's a reason why I'm emphatic to do this, and I believe that immigration reform is a thing that needs to happen. People need to, people need to understand that every country needs to get better, and for people to not go away. If you ask a Venezuelan, will you go back to your country if the economy was good? They will tell you in a heartbeat, yes. Venezuela has the most beautiful beaches in the world. That the number one tourist spot, that it was richer than the world, it was Venezuela by own Venezuelans. Venezuelans were the ones that they were making a lot of money in their own country. This is how crazy it is. Venezuelans were the ones that they were making money, tourist money, their own tourists in their own country. This is how beautiful that country is. And because of one dictator, it is being destroyed. So, hope that I answer your question. Since I started, not openly because, security reasons why. A lot of people have asked me why you don't do live feeds anymore on spots, and I have gotten, I have burned out on doing live feeds. Second, security reasons. Number two, but you know, yes, I used to do a lot, but now I just report. I go there, document, and state the facts of what is happening. Where can we see? Gracias. Thank you for your amazing service to the world. Thank you so much. Thank you, Melissa Hope. Where can we see your Ukraine documentary? It's not finished yet, and we are still waiting. I went with Real America's Voice News, the network, and also on my own. So I recorded a lot. When I went on my own, I was in France. I was with the great Chuck Colton, my mentor. I was in Poland. I was in Amsterdam. So I recorded a lot over there. But when we moved to Ukraine, it was part of the network. So we're waiting on Law and Border, the episodes that we recorded, for them to be broadcast. And after that, I can start the documentary and basically start explaining what I saw. Comment right here from my manager says many liberal laws like in California have allowed a lot of criminal drug production and distribution in the U.S. Go see the reports from California Insider and hear what the sheriff are saying. There is a screenshot of a particular show that says California Desert Cartels, and there's a 34-minute with 26-second video. I believe that is YouTube, and the type of the program says how cartels took over California's deserts and turn it into lawless. So, if you guys want to, take a second and go over there and investigate. And if you guys want to go over there and particularly do what, if you want to get more involved into that particular topic, there it is. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining on this Sunday. An hour and 7 minutes I already passed by. It's 5:21 in the evening over here. It's time to get something to eat. Thank you so much for all your congratulations. Yesterday we received a plate. I already gave it to my mother. The plate, it was an honorary award of in a plate that it was for basically for our accomplishments that we have done in our career, documenting in Central America and also in South America, in the Darien, and also in Ukraine. This was given to me where my childhood, I was born and raised in a really well-known neighborhood right here that it was celebrating 94 years of them being founded. And it was really emotional for me, really deep, really personal, because if you get accepted by your own neighborhood and your own people, that means that you can make it in every part of the world. So that was why it was so personal for me, why I was so emotionally excited, because your own people are watching you and they're saying, you have earned our respect. You earn it. So that is more, for me, more valuable than anything else. More valuable than anything else, that your own raza, your own people, they're telling you you're doing a great job, and whatever you need, we will be here supporting you. We got your back. So I'm really happy and excited about that. It was a great event. There was a lot of people there, musicians and music. I got a moment to speak on the podium. And this is what I particularly said. I said, thank you to the institution of the Colonia Libertad. Thank you to all the organizers and to people that they follow me on every platform. Thank you to you. Thank you to my manager. Thank you to my family. But ultimately, I want to thank God for, second opportunities in life in La Virgen María de Guadalupe, mi reina. Thank you so much. Remember that this colonia, or this neighborhood by La Colonia Libertad, it is the beating heart of our city of Tijuana. We need to keep going and we need to stay united. God bless you and thank you. That is what I said in the podium. It was a really personal moment when I got down from that podium, I saw the plate. I never saw the plate when I was up there. I just took it and I started speaking. And when I saw it, it was a really beautiful plate, really well done. And it says something real beautiful, that you have put our colonia, our neighborhood, in the top of the world by your reporting in the world. So that was really personal, was really emotional for me. So I want to say thank you to all of you before I go. All of you that you have stood with me from the start, people that they have come later on and supported me, my angels, of course, my manager, also, Real America's Voice News, my brother Ben Berquam, Anthony Agüero also, and the people that they have come after, a small group of reporters, Mr. Chuck Holton, my mentor, ultimately also out in Cabello, that he has come also and change also the broadcasting that he has done phenomenally, being also promoted by Elon Musk. Isn't that big? He's doing great big things, and I'm so proud of him that he's emerging in that particular platform, and he deserves the world. Independent reporting needs to be supported. We don't get supported by mainstream media. We don't get supported by no mainstream media. We don't have the same treatment as journalists from mainstream media. We don't get the huge lights and the huge stages and and the actual permits to go into whatever place. We have to work for that hard. We have to work 2 times harder than your average typical mainstream media journalist. It is way difficult for us. That's why every single accomplishment that is given to us, we take it really into the heart. So I take this one really into the heart, and I want to say thank you to all my audience. God bless you all. It's and we're getting another award in November for our documentary of the Darien Gap. That is also big. We're getting it in Colombia and Bogota on an award ceremony that is called Emerging Awards. A lot of Mexican personalities, they're going to be there. A lot of Colombian personalities are going to be there, and it's going to be a whole red carpet thing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not used to that, but I'm putting our work in a place where it needs to be put and needs to be respected. And I want to thank every single one of you, because you're the guys. You guys are the ones that they have spread our work, spread our job, spread our videos to all places. And because of you, I'm humble enough, and I'm always going to be humble enough to say that because of you is where we are today. So God bless you. Thank you so much. Follow me at every platform. Subscribe to our channel at YouTube. You got a lot of people go to YouTube, but they don't subscribe to the channel, man. It's so easy. Just go over there and click the button that says subscribe, like the videos, and share the videos, and subscribe to our channel at YouTube. Also follow me at Twitter. I'm going to be more active at Twitter, now. So I will be active at Twitter. We will be posting over there. Manager is going to be, posting over there now at Twitter at our account. And we're going to try to grow that as Oscar Blue Ramirez at Twitter. Also follow me at Getter, follow me at Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as Oscar Blue Ramirez and Oscar Blue Media Team. Thank you so much for every single one of you. God bless you all. And like we always say, people, just remember, where is it? Okay, here we go. God's plan is our mission. Stay safe.
We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of
Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.